I'm just sitting here right now, sweetie, eating my popcorn and enjoying the show. That's what I'm doing right about now. Yes, indeed. As I'm coming up on the right side of the mountain. I'm coming up winning. That's it. Divine masculine. Oh, Lord. You didn't like that, did you? Oh, you was so mad. You just had to do some type of voodoo, witchcraft, hoodoo, you knew. For just $3.26 a day. I told you could help a broke black cane fund. He ain't like that. Now he want to sit up talking about some we both being immature. No, motherfucker. We both ain't being immature. Karma's a bitch. And you love bitches. And you love hoes. So you won't mind Karma being your bitch. But look like to me, you Karma's bitch. Help a broke down black cane fund. Woo! Yes, this is Genesis once again. With Genesis, the beginning of something beautiful. Genesis, Metaphysical Ministries. Coming at you with another tutorial. Like I said, I'm just sitting here enjoying my popcorn. Watching the show. I got some real intel for you guys. It's probably some intel that I'm expounding on from the previous information that I've given you guys. But I want to, get really into some things. Excuse me. While I was enjoying my popcorn, got a little bit of sea salt on my hands. Divine Masculine might want to get some sea salt and do a cleanse. Okay, you need to put some sea salt in the tub, do a spirit bath. But I don't know. Ain't that much sea salt in the world to cleanse all them sins off of the masculine. Yeah. But on the serious note, I want to talk to you guys. Unfortunately, but this topic needs to be discussed. A few things. One, about the genetic sexual downgrading of prejudiced black boy, which is basically aspect of divine masculine, and how the system of white supremacy used him to push a sexual agenda. There's no other position in the system of white supremacy, not even sex, that he's dominating in. And the system of white supremacy, they helped to create an illusion to make him think that he was dominating sexually. And he never was, and was an illusion. One thing I want to talk about too, I want to talk about, you have your governments here in this system of 3D, your world governments. But you also have your galactic governments. There are two galactic governments that you have above these world governments. One is the Reptilian Federation. Two is the Galactic Council. Now, the Reptilian Federation consists of your Insectilian, your Reptilian, your Greys, your Draconians, your Duro Reptilian, I think I said all of them. I have some notes right here, so if I'm looking down over here, just bear with me. But your Galactic Council, your Galactic Federation consists of your Insectilian. The Insectilians were dominating the system. They predicated themselves above the Reptilian. It wasn't the Reptilian that was dominating. It was the Insectilian. Because they, once again, insectilians, they predicate themselves above systems. I should know this. Having insectilian on my recessive side of my Andromedan. Under the Galactic Federation, you also had the reptilian. Under the Galactic Federation, you also had the draconian, which is a superior reptilian. Because 3% of them, they can connect their soul from the darkness to the light. That being which, they are a superior reptilian because of that. You have the Greys. That's part of the Galactic Federation. And you also have the Duro reptilian. And the Duro who made alliances with the Galactic Federation. Okay? These are all beings that are under the Galactic Federation. It's reptilian ran. But you have the insectilian, you have the Grey, you have the Duro. They have a genetic alliance with the reptilian. And then you have the draconian who are genetically wired to the reptilian. So that's how that works. The other galactic government that we have is the Galactic Council. My brand. Okay? My bunch. My people. And the Galactic Council, of course, is the Andromedan. Okay? The Andromedan insectilian. Insectilians predicate themselves above systems. The Andromedan who created us, who's our creator, allowed us to predicate ourselves above her genetics. That's another topic for discussion. I would love to get into that and how black women on this planet were some of the first geneticists on this planet via that bloodline, the Andromedan bloodline. I'm sure we weren't the only melanated bloodline who were some of the first geneticists, but I have the intel on that. That's another topic that I would love to talk about. But I want to just stick on code right now. I want to just stay in formation with the information that I have to give you. So we have the Galactic Council. Once again, it's the Andromedan on the Galactic Council. It's the Andromedan insectilian on the Galactic Council. You have the Anunnaki. You have 3% of the draconian. Okay. And that's the Andromedan is the genetic alliance, melanin, feminine, dominant energy. The draconian, 3% of the draconian, which are the 3% that can connect their soul from the darkness to the light. So they go from the Galactic Federation to the Galactic Council. That's a genetic alliance that we have. The Anunnaki is a genetic alliance that we have. Okay. They're online for a soul right now because our masculines fell short of the glory of God via the black woman. Okay? Because they fell short of the glory of God and they fell short of the genetic wiring that they had to their own bloodline. We had to make alliances with the Anunnaki. So we have those. Now, keep in mind, on top of that, because the Galactic Council operates above the Galactic Federation, everybody from the Galactic Council, the Galactic Federation, has put their genetics on our recessive side. So not only do we carry the genetics, we have the alliances of the Anunnaki, we have the alliances of 3% of the Draco, which connect their soul from the darkness to the light. This is the Galactic Council. But we also have the insectilian on our recessive side, the reptilian, the Grey, the Duro, not the Duro, oh my God, not that entity. We have the Grey on our recessive side. We have the draconian, the reptilian, the insectilian, and I think that's it. So that's what's going on. We got a little bit more going on in the Galactic Council. Now, I want to talk about, those are the two, this is how this information intertwines. I want people to understand that this world government that you have, this is not the end all. A lot of those people in the political arena, they don't even use real people. A lot of those people are syntheticals, robotoids, and shit like that. They're not even using real, actual people. Or it may be, holographic people that are actually ran by reptilian entities that if you actually saw those entities, animal control wouldn't even come pick their asses up. Because They look too they look too beastly. You know what I'm saying? They definitely don't look human. So, you have to understand that you have a government. You have governmental operation that's beyond this world, okay? I remember my husband and I, we were in Chicago, on the north side of Chicago where we used to live. And this lady, said to us that Earth was the main Hubble. And we just like, how sad is that to think that Earth is the main Hubble? It's not. It's so many worlds and realities and infinite possibilities and infinite dimensions. This Earth is multi-dimensional in and of itself. This is a multi-dimensional planet. And the planet is female. And it has a soul, a spirit, a mind, a body, and a consciousness. So we've gotten away from that understanding. You have to understand that there are galactic political governments that operate above this world government. This is nothing, in comparison to what's going on. And I'm telling you what that is. I'm coming up, I've gotten the downloads in order to come up with these solutions and solve these problems, meaning the lack of knowledge that we have. Man will perish due to a lack of knowledge. So our governments that need to be focused on right now is the Galactic Federation and the Galactic Council. Now, the Galactic Federation is losing power. The Galactic Council is now the dominant government. These are galactic governments that operate above this world government. Now, keep in mind, a lot of the Galactic Federation is democratic influenced. The Democrats influence the Galactic Federation because it's reptilian based. For black people to be Democrats is just on an extraterrestrial level fucked up. It really is, because the Democrats, the reptilian agenda that they're connected to, it's destroying our people. I definitely, as an Andromedan, would not claim Democrat. I don't really claim Democrat or Republican because, both of them, they basically have the same agenda when you're talking this earthly government or American government. Democrats and Republicans, they basically have the same agenda. They just have two different ways of getting there. So I don't really like to hone myself into that, because it's bullshit. But the Republican is connected to the Galactic Council. I say that because I told you on one of my early tutorials that Trump made an alliance with the Anunnaki. I had a tutorial, if you look back on some of my tutorials, that talked about presidents who made alliances with extraterrestrials. Donald Trump was one of those entities that made an alliance with the Anunnaki. As we were coming into home court advantage, the Andromeda Insectilian made the alliance with the Anunnaki. And he decided to do the same. And this took place after we had done this. For the past 3 timelines, the Andromeda Insectilian and the Andromedan extraterrestrial bloodline has had that alliance with the Anunnaki. We've had that alliance for a while now. It actually took 3 timelines for us to finally get on, really for you to see the results, positive results of matriarchy. Because for the first 3 timelines before this timeline, when the matriarchy came online, the Galactic Federation and all of their minions shitted on it. They had no respect for us. And, it was like, demonic centipede. They just came with all their ammunition and just bum rushed us. And, we went through a whole lot. That's why there are so many beautiful tarot card readers and so many people that's coming online worldwide that's helping with the trauma, the cleanup of what the Reptilian Federation shot out at us because they lost home court advantage. But anyway, As Flurboom says, I want to just give her credit for the home court advantage thing. I love that. So, because that's not me, you know. But just to explain, for lack of, I'm trying to just explain everything. But yeah, these are your two world governments. Galactic governments that are over these world governments. Okay, the Galactic Federation and the Galactic Council. So, so that's that. You know, when they used our masculine to push out the sexual agenda for white supremacy in order to dominate, well, in order for them, the Galactic Federation, to maintain control, because that agenda didn't help the masculine, it helped white supremacy. They're not going to allow, in a system of white supremacy, they want people who are going to operate for the advancement of that system. So you see a lot of the masculines, they don't have a system. They have no concern about even having a patriarchy of their own. But they were helping to keep white supremacy patriarchy intact. They became the Andromeda Insectillion and their own bloodlines open enemy. So how it looks is, in 3D, it looks like the black man is the open enemy of the of the black woman. And this is true. Racist white man is the dominant open enemy of the melanated matriarchal woman. And the masculine, he just confirms it, you know, and goes along with the situation. In turn, the masculine genetically wipes himself out. And the Galactic Federation helped him in doing this in a certain chronological order, going from up to down and inverting everything, making him think that as he goes down genetically, as he deals with each hoe who is a genetic inferior, more so than the last, as he does these third-party situations and chooses over you, he's choosing an entity that's genetically inferior to what he's choosing over you, if that makes any sense. So we're talking about the genetic sexual downgrade of prejudice to the masculine. Okay? When black people in the system of white supremacy stay on code with that system, it only helps to keep that system intact. Prejudice, masculine, okay? And prejudice, and his counterpart would be the prejudice karmic, okay? Now, let's just talk about this. Now, in a system of white supremacy, when you have the prejudice black male dealing with the non-black woman, and if they're together implementing the system of racism, white supremacy, they would be prejudice black boy and prejudice girl or gal. Now, if he's dealing with a white woman in a system of white supremacy, the general code of white supremacy is any female under the system of white supremacy who deals with a black man becomes a girl or a gal, whether she's white, black, whatever race she is. That's a code under the system of white supremacy. So what happened, basically, the reptilian agenda under the Galactic Federation, they wanted him to pair up with each entity from the Galactic Federation with their reptilian daughters, the daughters of Satan, and come against the matriarchy, come against the Galactic Council, which is a matriarchy. The Galactic Council is ran by the Andromedans. So you would see the masculine, he'll get with the insectillion, he'll get with the reptilian, he'll get with the draconian, he'll get with the gray, and he'll get with the duro in that order. Okay, in that order. So you would see him deal with these type of beings. Okay, and so the insectillion, in the system of white supremacy, whichever throwaways that they didn't want from their system. Prejudiced black boy, that's who he would be if he's operating under that system, because he's not a man, he's classified as a boy. His counterpart would be an insectilian, and that insectilian would be whatever throwaway insectilian that they didn't want. So how it would look in 3D, he may not get Donald Trump's wife, but he'd get something like an Amber Rose or some shit. He may not qualify for even a Penelope Cruz, but he may qualify for maybe a Kim Kardashian because, something like that. However. And so, I think a lot of the masculines in the system of white supremacy, they don't choose the whores that they're with. The whores they're chosen for them, or karmics, or whatever you want to call them. Allegedly. So he got with the insectilian. Basically, they come together and they attack the Andromedan bloodline. They attack the female, the Andromedan bloodline. He went over there, gives her intel about us, and they team up to come against us. That's why that relationship, the black man and the black woman, the black man and whatever throwaway from these extraterrestrial bloodlines, from their system that they don't want, that relationship has everything to do with a black woman. Another point that I want to make is it's okay when black women date out the race, but it is not okay when black men date out the race. Now, they think it's the other way around. When black women date out the race, we have the genetic dominant. We're the dominant. Okay? We are the genetic dominant. We hold the mitochondrial DNA for melanation, okay? For the survival of melanation. Any man that I get with Anunnaki, Draco, 3% of the Draco, my child is going to be that of an Andromedan insectilian on their dominant side. The Anunnaki or the Draco is going to fall on their recessive side. So I don't genetically wipe myself out if I continue to have children with black males. With non-black males. The black man, if he continues to have children with non-black women, he will genetically obliterate and wipe himself out. Now, if that's your preference, that's what you want to do or whatever, as a black man to date out the race, that's on you. But just know that you genetically wipe yourself out. Even our Andromedan insectilian male with Anunnaki on the recessive side, for instance, when he gets with the Duro reptilian, he genetically wipes himself out immediately. And completely downgrades his genetics and his offspring. If that's what he wants to do, if that's his preference, then that's fine. But he downgrades himself and genetically downgrades his offspring by doing so. Because the Duro reptilian, that's a subhuman entity. A step lower than that would be bestiality. Because that entity is barely human. So as he played this sexual filth game that was set up, because it's an operation, the sexual deviant nature of the masculine, this is an operation brought to you by the Galactic Federation. Okay? Brought to you by the reptilian agenda. This is what the whole sexual bullshit is about. From sexual deviancy to child molestation to bestiality and all of this sick, horrible shit. A lot of the demonic sexual practices, the worship of the anus. Reptilians, they don't just do, they're not an expert in love making, the worship of the phallus, the worship of the life force, the worship of the vagina, 5D sex in the astral realm. These are things that the Galactic Council do. The Andromedan does. Mastering orgasms and things like that. This is what the Andromedan does. Okay? They're not into that type of sexual play and sexual situations in order for it to be the advancement of society. They use sex to destroy people. They love using the energy of sex because that's the highest energy that the reptilian has to destroy innocent people who aren't even engaging in sexual operations or sexual play or sexual, any type of sexual anything. They'll use sex to destroy people's lives, innocent people's lives who aren't even having sex. You see what I'm saying? Their sexual operation determines innocent people's outcome. And that's just ridiculous. It's a sick game. And it's good that the masculine. Oh, it's good that the masculine. I'm sorry, I just had to make sure that I thought my camera wasn't running. I was like, oh shit. It's good that the masculine is paying the cost. Because he never was the boss. He was under a sick illusion. So this is what he did. Our Andromedan male, he was used as a byword, a karmic, and a prisoner of war to perform this sexual operation. And when complete, he genetically exterminates himself. So it's basically a suicide mission. Okay? It's a sexual assassin psych operation. And this is what divine masculine is doing. It's a sexual assassin psych operation. So, he's a military warrior for the system of white supremacy and a sexual assassin. So if you then after load his pistol, his notorious